In the last video, I talked about how sometimes, even when a conversation ends, it doesn't actually feel over. How something in your body can still feel unsettled, like the experience hasn't fully completed yet. This video is about what usually comes next, the replay. Because when something feels unresolved, your mind doesn't just let it go, it goes back to it over and over again. And you might notice it in small ways at first, thinking about something you said, then something they said, then going back to your response again. You might be replaying the tone, the timing, the exact moment everything shifted. Sometimes even imagining how you could have said it differently or how the conversation should have gone instead. And it can feel like you're just overthinking. But what's actually happening is a little different. You're not just thinking about the conversation, your mind is trying to complete something your nervous system hasn't finished processing yet. Because when an experience doesn't fully settle in the body, the mind steps in and it tries to resolve it the only way it knows how to, by going over it again, trying to understand it, trying to make sense of it, trying to find the moment where things could have gone differently. But while that's happening, something else is also happening underneath it. If you slow down and actually notice your body in those moments, you'll usually feel something there. Could be a slight tightness in your chest, a kind of pulling sensation, like a subtle restlessness that doesn't fully go away. It's almost like your body is still leaning toward something unfinished. And that's important because it means this isn't just a mental loop, it's a felt loop. Your mind keeps returning to the moment because your body hasn't settled out of it yet. For example, you might be doing something completely unrelated, driving, working, or even trying to relax. And out of nowhere, your attention just goes back to that conversation. Not because you chose to think about it, but because something in your system is still holding on to it. And this is why the loop feels so hard to stop. Because it's not just thoughts, it's it's connected to a feeling that hasn't finished moving through you. And this is where people usually misunderstand what's happening. They try to stop the thoughts, they distract themselves, they tell themselves to move on or that it shouldn't matter anymore. But the thoughts come back anyway. But it's because the thoughts aren't the problem. They're just the surface expression of something deeper that hasn't settled yet. Your mind is actually trying to do something important here. It's trying to create clarity in a moment that felt unclear. It's trying to restore a sense of control in a moment that felt uncertain. And it's trying to bring closure to something that didn't fully close. But the mind can only go so far. Because what it's trying to resolve isn't just logical, it's emotional. And emotional experiences don't complete through thinking alone. This is why you can replay the same conversation 10 different times and still feel the same tension underneath it. Because every time you replay it, you're getting closer to understanding it, but not necessarily closer to feeling settled inside of it. Completion happens when your system starts to feel safe again, when your breathing slows down, when your body softens, when that subtle urgency to go back to it starts to fade on its own. Not because you forced it to, but because your system finally had enough space to process what it was holding. So if you've ever felt stuck in that loop, going back to that same moment again and again, it doesn't mean you're overthinking. It means something in your system is still trying to process what happened. And sometimes, instead of trying to think your way out of that loop, what actually helps is something much quieter. It's slowing down, noticing what you're feeling instead of trying to solve it immediately. It's letting the experience move instead of forcing it to close. Even just being able to sit with that feeling for a few moments without needing to change it can start to shift how your system processes it. Because once your system completes it, the thoughts don't need to keep coming back. In the next video, we're going to take this a step further. Why it's so common to only fully understand what happened after everything is already over.